cutting-edge Austin avalanche of rock and roll.
Featuring your host, Peter Zaremba.
I must have played in Austin, Texas more than a dozen times with my band, The Flesh Tone. And there's always been a great music scene there. Lately, friends have told me things have really taken off.
MTV came down and devoted an entire hour to Austin bands.
This is the first time we're going to do a whole show from one spot.
So all of a sudden, Austin was this hot town.
This independent scene is spitting out more vinyl than you can shake your tone arm.
You know, you had Rolling Stone. Steve Pond came down and did a big story. I did like a 6 or 7 page spread in Spin magazine.
Austin, rock and roll.
That summer, there was a big Austin promotion at the New Music Seminar. We sent 6 bands up to showcase, and we had a big stand on their trade show to promote Austin.
There were no egos. There were no, oh, well, you're not big enough to play.
We actually had a table, and we're giving away a cassette of Austin bands. At the time, it was just totally exciting, and seeing our Austin bands in New York.
And they announced that they were going to do the New Music Seminar Southwest. So everybody was very excited. That was in July. Sometime in September, they announced that, well, we're not going to do it this year. We'll do it sometime in the future. We're not sure when.
You know, this guy from Texas was like a little mosca. It was a fly. Just get out of my way. You know, you don't rate. He was very disappointed, kind of tail between his legs. He couldn't get a rise. And out of desperation, he went to the closest institution he knew of, the one that he was working for, the Austin Chronicle.
Lewis Myers and I got together and said, we're going to use New Yorkers. We can do this.
Talking it up a lot.
Interminable meetings and talking about how stuff was going to work.
It must have been hundreds of hours.
But, you know, this was another great idea, and it's kind of, well, great, yeah, sure.
When they were first having the very first meetings of, we call it reindeer games, you know, oh, they're doing reindeer games. To us, it was a big joke because they would get in this room and they'd lock the door and they wouldn't let anybody know what was going on.
Lewis did not like the idea.
We're putting out a paper every 2 weeks, you know, essentially with no money.
He thought that it was potentially dangerous.
And so I had hesitations.
That it could bring the Chronicle down.
And Nick had hesitations.
We weren't making any money, and
it was like, you know, total hand-to-mouth.
Determined, desperate, whatever the word would be.
I don't think he got taken seriously until word got out. He talked the Chamber of Commerce into basically getting some seed money. He was able to talk him out of money.
The princely sum of $5,000.
He won right there.
That money went into the Chronicle bank account and stayed there for a little while before it finally got spent.
And Lewis and Nick said, okay.
It seemed like a logical thing at the point when it happened. And we had the infrastructure, such as it was, of you know, we had an office, we had a little bit of money in the bank at that point, and people.
It was, in the great Austin tradition, a bootstrap operation from the get-go. Trade-outs, borrowing, hustling, all the have-nots depending on one another. It happened.
There was a lot of fear, I had tried a lot of things in my life. Ultimately, they failed. So I was 29 at the time, you know, and it was kind of like, you know, when are you going to grow up, kid? Was the situation I was in. You know, when I got this opportunity, I promised myself that no matter what it took, no matter how many bodies I had to crawl over, that I was going to do everything possible to make this thing work.